am so thrilled that you're joining me this afternoon, and we're going to have a great time together on this virtual event. We're going to focus on careers, how William & Mary is expanding resources for students and alumni. I'm Kathleen Powell. I'm the Chief Career Officer and Associate Vice President for Advancement. In the next hour, I have the pleasure of welcoming three of my wonderful colleagues across the university, and we're going to talk about how William & Mary is supporting our students and alumni. Our three guests today are in this order. Heather Golden, she is our Chief Marketing Officer and Associate Vice President for Marketing. We're going to discuss the career initiatives that lives in the career cornerstone of Vision 2026, our strategic plan. Michael Steelman, he serves as the Director of Alumni Career Engagement and Professional Networks. And Michael and I are going to have the opportunity to talk about engagement with our new platform called One Network. And finally, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kelsey Carter. She's class of 2023. And Kelsey's going to talk about her experience with the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement. We are thrilled to be ranked #1 for internships in public universities by the Princeton Review for 2022. And I will say that's 2 years running. Internships and applied learning opportunities continue to be the cornerstone of our mission to help support our students and to call back our alumni for support. Without further ado, I'd like to get started with our first guest. Well, hello, everyone. One Tribe, One Day is one of my favorite days that I've been saying, and it truly is. And right now I have the pleasure of welcoming Heather Golden, and we're going to have a great time just talking about the Career Cornerstone and initiatives. And Heather, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself so our William & Mary community know who you are?
Sure. It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me. My name is Heather Golden. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at William & Mary. I've been at William & Mary since 2014, and my daughter made me a legitimate member of William & Mary when she enrolled, and I'm a proud parent of the class of 2024. So happy to be part of William & Mary.
That's terrific. And I'm glad she made that so. That's very exciting, very exciting. So as you know intimately, that careers is one of the 4 cornerstones of Vision 2026. And it states that William & Mary will lead in the preparation of lifelong careers and learners equipped to navigate in rapid change. And we want them to thrive from their first job to their last. And we want to help them with their second, their third, their seventh. And we think that that's important. When you were thinking about the strategic plan in Vision 2026, can you talk about why careers was selected as one of the initiatives?
Sure. So it might seem unusual to promote careers as a strategic priority at a liberal arts university like William & Mary, because of course, traditionally, the purpose of the liberal arts education was to expand your mind and deepen your understanding about yourself and how you can fit into the world. And that's still very true, but a lot has changed. And there's been a real shift away in the way people think about the value of education and why you would go to a university. And so there's much more focus now on outcomes, including jobs and careers. And so part of that shift, comes from just the increased cost of higher education and people wanting to have assurance that the investment is going to produce a tangible return on that investment in the form of salaries and clear pathways and things like that. So we know that we need to kind of take a new approach, a both and approach, as we like to do at William & Mary, and really thinking about how you partner expanding the mind and conveying the value of that education as far as outcomes go. And in 2019, we conducted a market research study, a positioning study, to get a better understanding about what students are looking for today as they're making their college search and choice, and then what they associate as strengths with William & Mary. And what came through with that was that there is a disconnect between a liberal arts education and people understanding that clear pathway to careers and outcomes and jobs. And so it's incumbent on us to demonstrate the value proposition of a liberal arts and science education in today's world. And then how do we make it clear that pursuing a wide range of majors and is going to produce defined and measurable career outcomes for our students. And so that's a real main focus is making it clear that coming to a place like William & Mary is going to give you an opportunity to put you on a career path where you are going to have lifelong career success and professional success, and that we're still embracing our traditional mission to cultivate creative thinkers, principled leaders, and compassionate global citizens where you can lead a life of meaning and distinction. So.
Great, thank you. So we know that applied learning is one of the central focus points of the Career Initiative. And why do you think applied learning is important to the university and to our students?
Sure. So I think applied learning is, the real value is that real life can't be taught in a classroom. You have to experience it firsthand. So whether you participate in study abroad, community service, research, internships, athletics, student leadership, all of those opportunities allow you to put knowledge and skills into action. How do you take what you learned in the classroom and to make it applicable to real life? So these experiences teach things that a book can't, and you really need to get out there into these kinds of learning environments to really figure out how you problem solve, how you adapt to change, how you deal with ambiguity, which we face all the time, how you build relationships and overcome failure when things don't go exactly right. So the soft skills are just as important to success in life as much as knowledge is. And so we've got to think about how we're providing those opportunities as part of the educational experience. We know that studies show that top 2 skills that employers are looking for are leadership and how to work with the team. And those are things that you just don't get just sitting in a class. So we've got to make sure that we are providing applied learning to allow students to build those skill sets and demonstrate, be able to demonstrate them to others, and particularly with the employers.
Great, thank you. My next thought and question that I have for you is when you were building out Vision 2026 in terms of the William and Mary community, did you look at other universities that had a focus on careers? And if you did you see any other universities building around career goals at the speed and pace at which we're doing here at William and Mary?
Well, of course, William and Mary is doing it best. We know that. But I think we would be remiss not to mention that we do look at others and, what are other universities doing? And when President Rowe came to William and Mary, she really encouraged her senior leadership team to read a book by Northeastern University's president, who wrote Robot Proof, which you may have read. But what it really talks about is a new way to be thinking about the next generation of learners, and especially in a world where there's rapid change in technology, how do we educate people and the society in a way that artificial intelligence cannot? And so they really focus on 3 different aspects of literacy: technological, data literacy, but most importantly is that human literacy, which is so important to how we thrive as human beings today. So the point of the book gets to talking about how lifelong learning opportunities empower a student's ability to adapt to change. And so at Northeastern, they use the co-op model, the internship co-op model, and they take a full semester to pursue an internship. And that may be something that we explore, but I think that we're trying to take the best elements of that thinking to say that an internship opportunity is fundamental to a student experience. And similarly, the University of Richmond provides a funded summer internship for its students. And so there are other universities, but those are the 2 that come to mind most readily about models that we've seen and that we know about that influence some of our early thinking. But President Rowe this was a passion of hers from when she first arrived at William and Mary, and so I applaud her for really taking the reins on that and thinking about how we bring that to life here.
Great, agreed. And it doesn't hurt that we're number 1 in Princeton's review for public schools around internships. So
for the second year in a row.
For the second year in a row. So we're doing okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Heather. So when you think about the career initiatives and all the focus groups and different things that you've been doing in terms of setting up the strategic plan, in your opinion, and based on maybe research and diving a little bit deeper, why do you think that Career Cornerstone and applied learning internships resonate so well with our stakeholders?
Yeah, it's been very rewarding and reassuring to see that this is something that does resonate with pretty much all of our audiences. And I think that's for good reason. I think that this is an initiative that resonates with everyone because we all have a stake in sustaining and elevating the value of a William and Mary degree. Alumni success is a great way to demonstrate that value. We all have a vested interest in William & Mary being known as the best place to prepare students for lifelong career success. And we all want graduates to view William & Mary as their lifelong career partner and a place that they can keep coming back to for support and continued education throughout their professional lives. So I think alumni, students, parents, prospective students, they all have a shared investment interest in seeing that ROI in that investment of the William & Mary education. So I think it's an easy initiative for everybody to rally around. There's no downside to wanting to showcase career success and to invest in our students to ensure that they are able to be successful in whatever career pathway that they choose.
Heather, I think, that's spot on. And when I think about what, the Career Cornerstone is doing and setting up, lifelong career partner, setting up our students to thrive in a rapidly changing world. When you think about just that long view and where and how we're setting up our students who are part of Vision 2026, what do you think the future holds for them because of the work that we're doing now?
Well, I think that our students are coming out of the William & Mary education with, obviously a great academic experience, but more importantly, they really do have a skill set that allows them to thrive in a world where there is change. I mean, people are in jobs now, our alumni are in jobs now that didn't exist when they graduated. And part of the reason that our students do so well is because they do have that soft skill set of being able to problem solve, to think critically, an entrepreneurial mindset. They can adapt. They're not discouraged when they hit challenge or things don't go exactly the way that they want. So I think all of and they can communicate really well, which is I can tell you from my role is something that is harder and harder to find. So I think we just do a really good job of evolving the liberal arts and sciences education in a way that meets the needs of the world and the current challenges and really positions our students to thrive.
I just saw a statistic recently that said 63% of our elementary school students will be in jobs that don't exist today. And I think that just kind of points to your comment and makes sense, makes good sense. And then, how can our alumni, our friends, our William & Mary community, how can they support the Career Initiative?
Well, I think that one of the goals of the Careers Initiative is that we want to be able to provide every eligible student with a funded internship or applied learning experience. And so we need resources to be able to do that. We know that women and minorities are far more likely to have unfunded internships. And so we want to make sure that we are encouraging all William & Mary students to take advantage of an internship opportunity. And so we really are leaning on our alumni and friends and generous supporters to make sure that we're able to realize that vision and to be able to make that kind of an applied learning experience available for everybody.
That's terrific. And, we also know that students who are in paid internships are 75% more likely to be given a job offer and, in maybe one or two offers. So this idea of theory to practice and making sure our students have opportunities, Vision 2026 and the Career Cornerstone has really set the foundation and the groundwork to do that. So Heather, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm really glad we could do this. And here's to an exciting One Tribe, One Day. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I am so glad that you've joined us, and I have the pleasure of being with Michael Steelman today. So, Michael Steelman, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thank you, Kathleen, for inviting me to join everyone on this great day, One Tribe, One Day. My role is Director of Alumni Career Management and Professional Networks. And what I do for that in that role is help our alumni be more successful professionals. And we do that through supporting them through career-related development of programs and resources, as well as networking opportunities, whether aligning them with their industry interest areas, with fellow peers around the world in their industry, workplace opportunities and connections across their companies and employers and organizations, and through their regional connection points in their areas that they live, and building out stronger networks professionally in their areas that they live. And we do that also by getting them to support one another in their career journey and opening doors at places and opportunities for engaging them with the student community of our career development team.
Yeah, great. Well, that is a good lead in. And I will just say One Tribe, One Day is one of my favorite days. And it gives our William and Mary community opportunity to lean in to support all of the initiatives across the university. So want to speak specifically to you about one of our upcoming initiatives. And that is a platform that we'll be launching called One Network. And could you just tell the audience a little bit about it and how they'll be able to use it?
Yes, absolutely. And we're very excited. This has been a work in progress for a little bit, but we are excited that this is the year that it will launch. And this will be a platform for our entire community, the entire William Mary community, to come together as one network to professional network and on a global scale. And this will empower career development, career opportunities, connection points around industry, all the things I was sharing earlier about what I do, but looking at it not just around alumni, but ways that alumni can support one another and support the students, and students can connect with other students and alumni and parents. Faculty can utilize it for their classroom work and research, and staff can also engage in programming around the world. It's going to help our community thrive in this evolving, changing world that we live in today.
Great. And it's so wonderful that we now have technology that will allow our community to engage with our students. And that's my next question that I have for you. How can our community engage with our students, and how will they be able to connect through One Network?
Well, we'll really be building opportunities for the community to support students as career connectors. This is an opportunity, whether it's 2 minutes of time for a short question on an email message, or through scheduling an opportunity for a 30-minute conversation via phone, Zoom, coffee meeting in Williamsburg, whatever it might be. Our students are eager to thrive in their careers just as much as our alumni. And we want everyone to share that passion in supporting one another and finding ways that you can learn from the students as well. I think the students have incredible knowledge that they're learning about every day in the classroom and in their internship experiences. And how can that benefit us as professionals out there? So I think this is an opportunity to realize and teach together, learn together, and support one another in this great career journey.
Yeah. So again, Michael, you keep setting me up and giving me these softballs, but you mentioned ways in which the community can connect with students, and you said having coffee, connecting for career conversations. When one enters the platform, what are those other ways that folks can raise their hand to be career connectors?
Absolutely. So we'll have in the profile, when you create an account, and really take the time, this is like really important when we do launch this, that I encourage everyone to really populate the entire profile as best as they can and as comfortably as they will feel comfortable doing. But basically, we ask everyone to think about how they can help one another. What ways can they help one another? Whether that's from helping with interview, resume, the job search needs, to just offering advice to different stages of someone's career, whether it's early career, mid-career, student peer, like an upperclassman, or a graduate student helping an undergrad interested in law, or, you name it, giving guidance to support one another as advisors and supportive community members. That's what we're building. The culture of One Network is really about learning together, helping one another grow. And so we're trying to create fields and questions that will allow us to find one another on our own, and also identify how we want to be contacted from others as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I think about, as from our world in the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement, it's that engagement ecosystem where we've got folks coming in, they want to support students and each other. We've got students thinking about how they can make those connections. And it's really a beneficial opportunity for our students. And I can just see a lot of excitement around it. So is there just one thing that you would like the William and Mary community to know about One Network when it goes live?
One thing is tough, but I'll do my best. I mean, I really do think creating a strong profile, not that it has to have experiences that you don't have yet. I mean, there's going to be different varying types of experience levels and things like that, but more taking the time to really answer the questions and think thoughtfully about the questions will be important to the success of one another finding each other, right? Like, how do we have a community if we don't have people entering the right things to be found and searched and stuff. So the directory is really what I'm getting at, is that's the bread and butter of this tool, really. That's the core purpose of the platform, is to connect and help strengthen our community. So the time we take as individuals when we do get to joining it will be critical to that. But I also think it's don't be shy, reach out to others, start to test the waters a bit, and be welcoming to others. I think that's the key too, is if you get a message, don't ignore it, try to respond. Even if you're busy, just let them know, really not the best time, but I'd love to find something in, a month or so. Just be responsive to one another, supportive to one another. I think those are key things. And then, I think how you could sync your LinkedIn and things is something to think about to help you later on. So we'll talk more about that at some point. But I think those are my top things. Would be really take the time for your profile and be excited and welcoming to others.
Well, I know that I'm excited about it, and I love the language around connectors. When I think about William and Mary being a relational institution, and how we call each other in and we support each other, I think that language will resonate with our community, both externally and internally. So I think that's wonderful. You mentioned LinkedIn. Can you tell me a little bit more about why that's important, and maybe next steps that the community can do to get ready for One Network?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the key thing right now, as we wait to officially launch this to our entire community, is to take the time to complete your LinkedIn profile, update it. If you have, it's been a while, and I've talked to a lot of alumni, you know who you are, that need to update their LinkedIn profiles, and which is great. This is an opportunity to take that time. We're in spring here. This is perfect. Update your profile, get it ready, whether you're a student, a graduate student, alumni, parent, family, friend, whatever you are, update it and take that time, because this tool has the ability to sync your experiences right over. So you don't have to redo it all by hand on the other end. You just hit a couple buttons and it syncs over the experience area and your about section and things like that. So it's worth the time. And the other thing to think about with LinkedIn is this is not to replace LinkedIn. This is by no means designed to compete with LinkedIn. It's to actually enhance our user experience of LinkedIn as a William Mary community. Think about all the ways that we as a community can connect and strengthen our connection points through One Network that will also benefit our network on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your CRM. It's your personal CRM. It's your constituent relationship management tool for your career and your needs as a professional. One Network will be an incredible supportive tool to the success of LinkedIn. So don't think of it as replacing LinkedIn. That's pretty much here to stay, at least from our observation of it over the past 15 years or so. But I think that One Network will make it even more valuable experience. So take the time of spending the time to update your profile, utilize it still, reach out to one another on LinkedIn. But this One Network will allow you to identify people in a way that we haven't been able to identify, the way that they want to help and help one another within William Mary, that we can now do with One Network.
I think that's terrific, Michael. And, what I heard you say is it's a low barrier to entry in One Network. As long as your LinkedIn profile is updated and your message is to update your LinkedIn profile, or if you're watching this and you don't have one, lots of resources available on our website about how to create a LinkedIn profile. And then the other thing I will share is that, students are always looking to make connections. And it's one thing to make connections through LinkedIn. The other is on One Network. We already have folks who've raised their hand and said, I'm here, I'm willing to help. So again, it's just an easy pass off. And again, I think that message is terrific. Michael, again, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for this time and to share out all the excitement that's happening around engagement for our community. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will say, go Tribe.
Go Tribe. Well, thank you, Kathleen. And just to kind of give a heads up of when to expect, we're hoping summertime. So just stay tuned for emails from us. You'll hear from us. Don't worry. We'll be sending it through every channel and medium you know of, whether it's LinkedIn, email, social. We'll be on there promoting One Network. So we hope you'll join us and enjoy this great day. Go Tribe.
Hello, Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me today. Why don't you just tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelsey Carter. I am a senior that is majoring in kinesiology and health sciences on the pre-medical track, and I will be applying to medical school this upcoming cycle. And during my junior year, I was granted the opportunity to work as the health careers intern in the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement for STEM advising under Mr. Don Snyder. And through this position, I was able to act as a mentor and advocate for pre-health students by developing more resources or hosting workshops, and overall just building more connections for the William & Mary community related to the health field. So yeah, that's me.
Great. Well, thank you for that introduction. I know for a fact it was amazing having you as an intern for us in the Office of Career Development and Professional Engagement. In terms of that experience, how did that change your perspective of what our office does?
Through that experience, I believe that I definitely saw the measures that are taken to create opportunities for students. I realized that there are so many free and accessible resources for career development, not only during undergraduate, but after you graduate, which I thought was wonderful. And I just really saw that there are so many professionals in the Career Center that are here for us to provide mentorship and advice in whatever field you may have. You just have to seek it, which was wonderful.
Great. Thank you for that. I also know that you received funding not once, but twice to participate in some shadowing experiences. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so I participated in the William & Mary externship program that is through the Career Center. I did it in 2022 and then this past winter, 2023. And because I'm a pre-medical student, I participated in the externship programs for shadowing. So I was able to go to Atlanta, Georgia this past year. And then the previous year, I went to Silver Spring, Maryland, where I was able to shadow an interventional radiologist, which was wonderful. And then this past winter, I shadowed a breast cancer surgeon. And that experience was wonderful. I was given funding to go. I saw various patient interactions. I was able to compare and contrast those two different fields. And it was just a wonderful experience to really decide whether or not being a physician was the path for me, which definitely I confirmed that decision while I was there. And overall, I was able to just see different patient populations, both in Atlanta and Maryland. It was just wonderful. Wonderful experience.
That is great to hear. You know, we talk a lot about theory to practice and applied learning and taking what you've gathered in your curriculum and seeing how that all applies in the world of work. So I'm excited for you that you had those experiences and that you'll be applying for medical school.
Thank you.
So what advice would you give to students or alumni who may not be engaged with our office?
Get engaged. That is my most precious advice to give to anyone. Take advantage of the resources that are available through the Career Center early on. If you're just starting out, go to the Career Center freshman year, meet with an advisor in a career field that you are interested in. And because the Career Center is here to help us strive and explore opportunities. And I know from my own personal experience, wanting to pursue medicine, it is so beneficial to get those experiences early on, like shadowing, because it helps you decide whether or not you want to pursue that career. And if you're definitely a student that is not necessarily having networks in the career that you're interested in, the Career Center is a wonderful place to build those connections and explore your options for that career path.
That's terrific. You know, One Tribe, One Day is a special day for William & Mary. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary of this event. And when I think about your funding for your 2 externships, for you to be an intern in our office, that was all because of donors and their passion for supporting students. So I'm really excited that you're here today and that we have this opportunity to engage. I think I have one more question for you. When you think about the services and everything that we do, as you know, we're a pretty active office. Is there one in particular or 2 that you would spotlight that would maybe have a student think, you know, I really do need to engage and engage often?
Definitely. I believe that there are limitless resources that the Career Center offers, but the main 2 I think I would highlight is, of course, the William & Mary externship program, because I know for me personally, that gave me such a wonderful opportunity to apply my own learning and to decide to pursue medicine through shadowing. And my second would be the Tribe Careers website. That is a perfect resource to have on the go and see whether you want to pursue a certain internship, current job openings, post-grad or during undergrad. There's also workshops that you can participate throughout the year, meetups through professionals in your career focus. There's limitless opportunities. So I think that the Tribe Careers website is a wonderful tool to get involved with the Career Center, and it's there on your computer. So you should just definitely take advantage of it.
And on your phone, because we have the mobile app. So you can check
Yes.
it out on the mobile app as well. Well, Kelsey, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you being with me today. And for our donors who are watching this interview, we hope that they will support you and other students like you who are looking for their career dreams. So thank you again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. You have a great day as well.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I hope that you enjoyed the time with our guests as much as I did. And I really want to thank them for their time today. I'm grateful for their perspective and the opportunity to share the exciting information and news with all of you. I hope that you've learned more about what we're doing here at William & Mary and putting the focus on career and preparing our students to be lifelong learners. We want to make sure that they are equipped to navigate in a rapidly changing world and thrive not only from their first job, but for their last. On this celebration of the 10th annual One Tribe, One Day, we are greatly appreciative of the financial support that comes from our alumni, our parents, and our community members to help drive our initiatives forward. We couldn't do this without you. We thank you for your support. Thank you for watching today, and thank you for being with me. Go Tribe.